What's up, fam? Welcome to another adventure. My name is Omar. Today I have something very special for you. A lot of you have been begging us to come to the Eastern State Penitentiary. We were given special access. We were invited here. We have the whole place to ourselves. This place is great. It happens to be one of the very first prisons ever made. I'm going to explain a little bit more on that story. Hope you're ready for this adventure. Make sure you leave a like if you haven't already. Let's do this.
It's like a funky thing. So, challenge is that you have to talk experience that you don't know. So, for example, there is an experience
Pretty sure these were like the exercise areas, and each of the prison inmates were given an hour to exercise every day. Maybe not though. Maybe this was like a actual cell. But here's another barber chair. This is cell block 11. Happens to be where Sidney Ware was housed. Now, in the Eastern State. I just heard a cough. Is that you, Sydney? I was just talking about Sydney Ware. Hello? I know I'm not tripping. I'm gonna have to go back and review that footage. I could have swore I heard somebody coughing. Now, there are employees here. I mean, I've seen some like scraping like snow off the ground, but they're not in here. And I just split up with Mo and CJ. There's 11 acres of jail in here beyond the walls. So this place is massive. It's easy to get lost in here. Please let me know if you see or hear anything in this video. Could have sworn I heard a cough. Oh, okay, I think that's an employee over there. They're just like salting the ground so people don't get hurt later. This is like right in the middle of Philadelphia, like real close to downtown, by the way. But anybody could come visit here. Sounds like a fire truck or an old fire engine. But anyways, Sidney Ware, back on Sidney Ware, he was a murderer and he served about 20 years or so before being let free. So he didn't even serve a life sentence. I heard he was later convicted of killing someone else, and he had to serve another 20 years, but then they let him go after that. What makes Eastern State Penitentiary so unique is the fact that they created it based on, like, see, back in the day, prisons were mainly used to hold people before being, like, hung or being whipped in public. You know, that was how they used to deal with criminals back in the day. Public humiliation. It was really never prison. Prison was kind of like just one big dungeon where they threw everybody, a mixture of everybody in there, and a lot of bad things would happen in there. Some people that were convicted for minor things would end up getting beat by other prisoners that were kind of crazy. They would introduce some of those people to drugs. Some of them would get raped. Yeah, bad situations. So what happened is William Penn, the founder of Pennsylvania, very religious guy, William Penn actually served time for religious persecution. Yeah, he was persecuted because of his beliefs in England, and he was in a prison, and that prison inspired him to build this one because the situation was so bad. So they figured, okay, I'm going to create a prison, and Benjamin Franklin had something to do with this too. And they said, hey, we're going to create a prison where everybody has their own private space, and they get to sit in here and just think about the bad things they did in quiet isolation. So they were completely isolated from other prisoners. They didn't get to talk to other prisoners. Okay, so in other words, that good that they thought they were doing actually led to a couple people being insane. I mean, I know that I would be insane just being in here like for 20 years. I mean, you're not going out at all. Usually they would have room
fix lights
close
in
by,
my room.
and they would get an hour of exercise in those rooms, and there was a little bit of daylight right there. I'm not finding a little hole.
Use a bowl.
There's usually like a little hole where they would pass the food through, but they spent their entire time in there, and these prison walls were so quiet, they would even make the guards wear socks over their shoes so you couldn't hear them walking through the hallways.
You
Just you could hear a pin drop in this prison.
What?
Pretty creepy. Couldn't sleep in there.
Do you like it
Cool.
here?
Oh, one thing I forgot to mention too. They used to have women and men in here together. It was co-ed, but then later on they kept it just men. A couple of the people, these were people that were murdered by some of the
Yeah,
inmates that served time here at the Eastern State.
By the way, this was the
This guy
Candy Heart
was a policeman.
challenge.
Right there.
One more shout out to you, which
60-year-old,
is
poor guy.
of
Was
course.
during a robbery. This is a little bit.
Shout out to him. He gave me the idea. Which he's very surprised that it's from me. And yeah, also shout out to the past team. Guys, this is Carol. I'm what do you say? Alright, well, doing a mess for this way.
Really nice. Not much ventilation in here too, so it would.
Guys, remember, if you want more, give me at least 5 likes.
There was no air conditioning.
I might just say 10, but 5 now.
In all honesty, it's something for heat there, which is very generous, actually considering the jail that
What?
very comfortable beds at all. They did this, so they have
Try something different.
hay inside of the mattresses.